Oscar, have you ever been to Western Australia? What I deem to be the Wild Wild West.
I have once. I've seen Perth. Will Smith was there. Pretty good.
Yeah?
No story to tell.
Oh, wow. Those are the best things you can say about Western Australia.
Exactly.
I didn't experience anything worth telling.
My name's Oscar.
My name's Carl.
And this is Who Would Watch This?
Who Would Watch This would like to apologise if we have offended
Fuck
anybody
the
that lives in...
Fuck Perth, that's right. Welcome to Who Would Watch This, the podcast where we watch a film, chat about the film, and then try and figure out who would watch this.
Today we're talking about Wild Wild West, which currently has a 2.2 on Letterboxd, a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 4.9 on IMDb. Oscar, what's the plot?
I love this plot summary. It seems like, I don't know, like a child's written it. The two best special agents in the Wild Wild West must save President Grant from the clutches of a diabolical, wheelchair-bound, steampunk savvy Confederate scientist bent on revenge for losing the Civil War.
Ooh.
Oh my god, chills. Okay, oh my goodness.
Well, sounds like somebody should be spending $170 million on that in 1999.
So you know it made its money.
So you know it did well.
Carl, before we jump straight into it, should we go back to last week before we'd watched the film?
Before we had experienced the Wild Wild
Before we got
West.
Wickety Wild Wild.
Before we got Wiki Wild Wild West with John West.
Yeah.
Desperado. Yeah, rough. Okay, yeah.
Carl, I'm gonna slap you silly with this movie. Get that? Because Will Smith was a slapping man.
He hit Chris Rock,
yeah.
and we all went, fine, okay.
Yeah.
And we were like, are there going to be any repercussions to his career or anything like that?
Here's
and everyone
the thing.
said,
I tore my ticket up for Emancipation. That's right. I heard the news, I guess, about 3 years later. And I was absolutely disgusted, and I ripped up my expired ticket to Emancipation. So, not on Will Smith. Honestly, this podcast, we've been pretty quiet recently, but no, that's not on.
We've actually chosen to stay out of the controversy. A lot of people obviously wrote in at the time saying, what did you think about that slap? And, I shan't be seeing Bad Boys Ride or Die opening weekend.
Yes.
I'll probably see it that Monday. So that's what they'll have to endure.
Yes. So again, we're taking a political stance. We're not on for Will Smith, kind of. We'll still watch his movies.
I'm a big fan of Hitch, and that's never going to change.
Oh, of course not. That's the thing.
You're not going to take away Hitch.
It's like Woody Allen and Manhattan. Just sometimes you got to have...
maybe we don't.
That's
maybe
my
we
thing.
Don't
Your
do
thing's
that.
Hitch. Your
maybe
thing's
we
Hitch.
Don't say that.
My thing's Woody Allen.
No.
And that's how we're doing
Isn't
it.
Manhattan even the really bad one?
It's the bad one, I'll be honest.
Because
I was
one,
like,
right?
what's the other one he did? It's the...
Annie Hall.
Annie Hall. I was like, that's great.
Endearing as
that's
hell,
lovely.
right?
I was like, I'm going to start
There's
watching...
no like, whoa, what age are we trying to...
No, Manhattan start. Woody Allen walks out. She's like, I'm dating this 15-year-old. No one thinks it's cool. And then the film whittles you down, goes, it was fine though, wasn't it? She was in the wrong.
And Jerry Seinfeld was in the audience being like, this guy's got a point.
And I'm going to do stand-up comedy about observations. It was a wild time in New York.
What's the deal with bananas? No, but we should watch Unfrosted.
Oh yeah, we really did not. We just put our heads down. Did not want to mention that.
Didn't even want to look at Unfrosted. Not even in the Netflix top 10 anymore. Just gone.
It's just gone.
Just everybody's all about baby reindeer.
Carl, next week we're doing Wild Wild West. Wickedy West.
Ah, yes.
Have you seen it? Thoughts?
All right.
I feel like we start this podcast. I feel like we're in the zeitgeist of bad films, and I feel like this is one we've just not done.
Yeah. I don't know why we stayed away from it. Maybe because it is a bit overdone, but also I think we deserve a treat after If. So
yeah, we spent real money, and now gonna hopefully get this on something.
We'll just see. I have seen Wild Wild West conservatively 12 times.
We're
doing a lot of movies I apparently just loved as a kid.
I feel like I had a bit of a couple of months where I was just like, this is my childhood. I'm going to scrape the barrel. And you're like, all right, with a shotgun, like, let's go kill some of my, childhood sweethearts. Now, why? Why?
My brother loved it.
Yeah.
And frankly, it's just a good Western. I don't know. Honestly, when I was young, Will Smith was just the best human being ever.
Yeah, still is.
But what?
Men in Black?
Yeah, Men in Black, Independence Day, Bad Boys. He was anything he was in. I was like, wow, is this the best? Like, I Am Legend, all those ones that you like enjoy at that age. I was like, yes, this is so good. And I guess at the time, it never occurred to me that this is a hideous film, but to me it was just a really fun western with a spider in it.
What counts as a spaghetti western, and what's just a western?
I think if it has Italian heritage.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right, if an Italian has made it on the cheap and.
Is that really what it is?
I think so.
Oh, that's okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Right, because
I thought it was like the people got like entangled with a bunch of things, but now I'm thinking you're right. Maybe it's just an Italian has made it, and then everyone's a spaghetti western.
That's why I think they came at like. They went by storm. Spaghetti westerns are the subgenre of western films solely produced in Europe.
Gotcha. So this is a true western. I'm glad we've got that. Look at us learning, huh? That's pretty fun. It's also a bit racially. So just like those damn sauerkraut westerns. You're like, oh, German made. A German made western would be vile. I think.
A bratwurst western. I'd go all in on a bratwurst western. A crepe western, if you will. A bangers and mash western.
Oh man, it's crazy you went for crepe. I guess that is a French food. But I guess I put that like fifth tier.
A western.
Yeah, croissant. A croissant is like I don't know. Top
tier
western. Yeah, exactly. You're doing top tier. It's just crazy you went straight to crepe, you know?
The very thin pancake.
I know what it is. I'm aware of what it is. I'm talking like if you Google French food, I'm thinking crepes like 10th. It's crazy you went straight to crepe.
When I said bangers and mash, that's actually sausage and potato.
Okay, you've lost me.
Did you see that? Huh? Did you see that coming? Either way, look, I feel like we're getting off topic. Wild Wild West, loved it as a kid. I'm excited to view it again.
Yes.
But I only know that I'm definitely going to hate it. So that's where we're at. But yeah, I'm excited to view. Oscar, have you ever seen it?
I've never seen it. All I know...
Huge! You weren't near me when I was a kid watching this?
No, it was really odd that I was not in your proximity because you kept just sort of had like that stank about you.
I still do.
I don't know. I feel like bad films and you know this is a bad film. Big Bomb. I think it's famous that like he turned out the Matrix for this to do this.
Isn't that such a famous fact?
Yeah.
It seems like a very fun, like if you're a fan of film, like you love that
fact. I don't know when that fact gets told to you. It feels like when the second you get into the film at like, I don't know, a certain age, you go, all right, here's like 10 facts that you can kind of recount to everybody.
I think this movie is also really notorious because I think when big leading actors have just one of the worst like it's like, wow, that's actually the worst film of your career. It really cements it.
Yes.
You know,
I think so. It kind of, and people kind of jump into it, which I'm scared that it's not going to be. I'm glad you've watched it because I was scared it was going to be just sort of one that people ragged on.
No, it's so bizarre. Like when you're a kid and you're watching it, you're like, this is just how westerns are.
Yeah.
The more I sort of reflect on it from memory, it's just bizarre. Everything about it is bizarre, but I'm keen to watch it.
Carl, who would watch it?
Who would watch it? I think it is the director of Men in Black as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Which I get. You know what? In fairness to like the Wachowskis and the Men in Black director, Will Smith looking at the two scripts going, yeah, I feel like...
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like you definitely get why he turned down The Matrix.
It's like, it was a hit, but like, it shouldn't have really been a hit.
Yeah. So...
It was weird and sci-fi.
Yeah, so I think this is definitely going to be for like... I think they made it with the intention of fun, PG, summer blockbuster, Will Smith doing it's like they'd done sci-fi modern day.
Yeah.
Now they're doing sci-fi western.
Yeah, fairs. That's fun.
So I think it's there for the people that enjoy like summer fare.
Yeah.
That's what I think their intention was. I don't know. It definitely will change.
Summer Fair feels like such like a, I don't know, like a 70s producer, just
like a spaghetti western.
It's so out of touch. Just like a Summer Fair. The kids need one. Like coming into the like a modern age.
They're gonna love Beau is Afraid. It's a beautiful Summer Fair release. Oscar, who do you think is going to want to watch?
I guess if
Wild
you
Wild
like
West?
a film that's tied into the album, like if you're kind of watching like the Beatles, if you're watching like a Pink Floyd, you know, you kind of want to see Will Smith. I want to see his music put onto screen, and that's what this is for, you know.
I will say I absolutely adore, unironically, the song Wild Wild West. I do not know the lyrics that well.
Yeah. Well, you know the start pretty well.
I like the beginning. Wicki-wicki, Wild Wild West. John West. It's how you know it. He created a tuna brand in Australia off the back of this.
Wow, that is such a legacy, huh? And
Yeah.
crazy, the tuna brand, John West. Is it John West? I think you're right. Well, that's a claim. It's not a good claim, but it's a claim. Well, it's a claim.
Big claim.
It's a
I
claim.
love pointing out it's that other fun film fact about Will Smith.
Yeah.
That his character made that tuna
Again,
in Australia.
I don't know what film people learn. You go that he was meant to be in The Matrix, and that the name from Wild Wild West inspired the tuna can.
I remember when I found out about it, I think I got like a letter in the mailbox and they were like, guess what? You're going to struggle to retain any piece of information that isn't seemingly related to a film. It is a curse and it is fucking useless.
But
Enjoy
1 out of
your
8
sad life.
Oh, it's a sad life, but 1/8 out of trivia, you're going to be pretty good.
Oh my god, so good. That's my heightened power. Going to a movie-themed trivia, I become a god.
Carl, Wicki-wicki, Wild Wild West.
The best!
Carl, let's
John
jump.
West!
Carl, okay, Carl. I'm pretty excited.
How are you? What's your gauge? We haven't actually communicated
We have not
yet.
communicated
I'm keen
a
to
single
know your
thing.
gauge.
I gotta tell you, I'm freaking all in on Wild Wild West.
I thought it was great. I loved it.
I thought it was. I can't believe people were so wrong, and I can see exactly what was going on in 1999. You got $170 million for that garbage, that hot piece of shit, and now there's a lot of choices,
Right?
and I think it worked just fantastic.
Here's the thing. I get that it's trash.
Yeah.
And I get that it's terrible for 1999.
100%.
Right? There's no defense of any choices or anything, any decision it decided to make is genuinely terrible. But by today's standards, oh my god, this is a romp.
We've got it's not audience tested at all. They've gone, we know what we want, and let's get some highlights.
It begins with a beheading.
Oh yeah,
But you don't know that because you're the blade.
yes, you are a POV blade following a man through a cornfield. He's got two, dog collars on his neck where the blade will go straight into, and we're following around.
So because you hadn't seen this before, were you like, what is this opening?
Yes, I was.
Did you know about this? This is one.
I don't know.
This is one of the things that I've always thought was so cool and has stuck with me.
The POV blade?
Sorry, no, just the concept of the blade.
Oh yes,
Like I've loved that at my entire life.
I think it's a bit PG, but you can really see it being quite a horrible torture.
That's the thing about this movie is it's PG, but it's
not PG.
It's not PG.
Every choice they make, I go, I don't know how they got it PG.
It's not only a little bit violent, but this is maybe the horniest movie ever.
And we use that.
So
we use that a
horny.
lot. However, it is softcore porn.
It's softcore
It's
porn.
softcore porn for teens.
I've
No kids.
Never seen so much gay panic over a film.
What gay panic? As in
It just their constant joke is two men doing this.
Oh yes. However, I'll double down here that I don't know who wrote it, but these guys are gay. And
Absolutely.
there's something going on
I
here. I
needed them to
There's
kiss.
so much gay panic, and yet, God, at the end, they really want you to know that they are fucking
When they're
hard.
sharing each other's bosoms, and that man's like, "That's disgusting," and I was like, "Well, you don't know what true beauty is."
Yeah, and the camera pans down, both hard-ons. It is a hot scene, but a good scene. Let's get into it. You're right. A man gets sawed off, a Confederate soldier with an ear horn. Great stuff.
Buffalo Bill from
it is
Sons
Buffalo
of the
Bill.
Lambs.
Oh, good for him. He really typecasted himself as a monster. But
did, didn't he?
I gotta tell you, I don't know what the setting of Confederate America might seem a bit dicey. The film doesn't handle it well, but
it doesn't, and that especially hasn't aged well.
Yes.
I think the fact that they made a summer blockbuster out of Confederate America was really bold.
It's bold, however, I do love it because I don't know much. I know about American history as much as this film knows I know about American history.
Oh, absolutely.
So it holds my hand. I'm like, Grant, I know him, and the Confederates, the bad ones. I'm aware.
I kept on being like, isn't he Lincoln? The entire movie, I was like, is that not Lincoln?
Classic. He was two after Lincoln.
He was two after Lincoln?
One or two.
The whole movie, all of my notes, I just think this president's Lincoln.
That's very foolish of you.
Yeah, it
okay?
is.
Someone doesn't watch President Ranks videos on YouTube. This guy does.
Sure haven't, but I... in the summer of 2012, I saw the trailer for Lincoln.
So the trailer for Lincoln.
Yeah.
You're a brave man.
Very brave. It's considerably shorter the film.
Let's get into our two characters. We got Will Smith. He's in the watering hole in a town.
And he's a player.
He's a player.
He's a player.
He fucks hard.
He does.
Okay.
It's pretty goddamn impressive.
They're
You go, that's a cool man.
They're fucking in the town's water supply. I gotta tell you, wouldn't want to be in this town.
No, I'd pay a lot to drink that water. Hell, I'd take a shower in it. Hell, I'd join in.
Will Smith.
It's the Wild West.
It's the Wild Wild West. We're starting off. I don't know if maybe we as a society have gotten less. I don't know, big films taking big swings on people, like pretty much like mid-coitus, just like, we're fucking under the water, and we want you guys to know. Where's that gone?
Yeah, I know. I wish it would come back. Yeah. I love the senselessness of PG concepted sex scenes more so than I do the ones that are gratuitous. Like the ones where they're like, and we just finished making love. And you're like, oh, okay. I don't know why we need to know that, but I guess the film's starting.
Yeah, the film's here. And we're interested in Will Smith. He fucks.
Really quickly, the beginning of the movie makes you think that flying disc thing's going to be far more important than it is.
Oh, I was surprised when it came back pretty loosely.
Oh, really loosely. And you know why I think they did that? I think it would not surprise me if, one, it was added into the movie, but it's got to be the fact that they don't do anything sci-fi related for so long. I guess they need to do something to tip off the audience immediately that there's going to be sci-fi, like there's going to be
steampunk, yeah. Because I guess you are right. There's disguises, and I guess there's a long sequence.
Well, you wouldn't know it until
until
you meet Kenneth Branagh's character.
Yeah,
probably.
Huge. I guess it would be quite.
That's like 35 minutes.
It would be quite aggressive.
Yeah,
wouldn't it? You'd be like, I thought we were in a western.
Because I thought it was weird that's the.
It'd be a cowboys and aliens, if you will. You know?
That's right, it would be very Cowboys and Aliens.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the title Cowboys and Aliens, you'd think...
My dad didn't know, he thought it was just called Cowboys.
Foolish.
Threw him. He was like, aliens? Are they versing monsters? And I was like, you're getting tied.
You're getting your Sephiroth confused.
Very confused.
We meet Will Smith, he fucks. He's on the hunt for the guy that killed...
He's on the hunt for Buffalo Bill.
Bill.
The bloodiest, the Confederate...
He's a bad Confederate man.
Yeah, bloody man.
We also get introduced to... Kevin Kline.
Oh yeah, I love Kevin Kline.
Yeah,
love him. Things like Dave, Fish Called Wanda. I even got excited when he popped up in the new Beauty and the Beast movie because he's not really in anything anymore.
What was he in? Oh, he's
the dad of Emma Watson.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. You're like, he doesn't shine in that. No offense to Kevin, but I think he's really fun in this. He's dressed up in drag and he's also on the hunt for the Confederate soldier.
He's not holding back. Like he's doing the most. He's giving what literally made Robert Downey Jr. famous in those Marvel movies. Gotcha. I think they're like a similar performance of like, I'm cocky, I know it, I'm, like...
Yeah, yes, wait, he's not that cocky. I guess just...
Kevin Kline, yeah, he is.
He's cocky.
The whole thing, he's technology, Will Smith's old-fashioned Western.
Oh my God.
They're both
you know what, this film's looking pretty good. All right, it's going up another star.
Juicy.
I really like him.
When we got drag, I was like, "Oh, I totally forgot how drag heavy this film."
Yeah,
was.
It's really drag heavy,
yeah.
And it starts off. The kids are like, "Hey, can I fuck you? Can I fuck you aggressively?" And Kevin Kline's like, "Fuck it, I might just indulge this. You know what? Let's chat. You know, what do you want to do to me?" And it's filthy. And
they have a great gag running through that Kevin Kline really finds drag freeing. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, we're going to this party," and he's like, "I'll just be another woman."
It feels like a 1940s movie where they're just like, "We're writing gay subtext, but it's a straight film." This guy just gets off on dressing like a woman. Isn't that funny and weird? But really, isn't it beautiful? But it's set in Wild Wild West. I don't know why they put it in this film. You could make those movies. I guess just not in a $175 million movie, but good for you, I guess. I don't know if the writers have accidentally done this. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely, they've accidentally done this. It's written by 40 people. That's totally just luck that anything in here sort of works. I do love the steampunk vibe of the hypnotizing his little
he's got
little
hypno
gadgets.
Boobs. He's got hypno boobs. They open up. It's powerful. It's a good scene.
Yeah, it's all really thrilling. And we also meet Kenneth Branagh.
Yes,
really quickly at the beginning here, just sitting in a carriage. We don't know too much about him. We just see his face.
He's got some foxy ladies. Yeah. That's how I would describe them. I think that's pretty apt.
I had completely forgotten Kenneth Branagh was in this film.
And maybe we're jumping the gun here. I gotta tell you, this role right here may have redeemed him.
This is the best Kenneth Branagh's ever been in a film.
I want to apologize to Kenneth Branagh. How dare I say that he should have not done an accent in Tenet? He's proven very well.
He loves an accent.
He can do an accent.
He can do whatever.
And it can make a film. And you know what? Good on him.
Kenneth Branagh gets to do whatever the fuck he wants. I now have retroactively decided he deserves an Oscar for Belfast off of this film. That's how good he is in this movie. I'm going to give the biggest compliment I can give this movie is it looks like everybody is having the most fucking fun with their role because they're so out. Will Smith gets to be this really cool, slick,
cocky, fun. Every line's sick.
Because it's like I saw there was some sort of line that was like, no matter who the actor is, every actor in Hollywood just desperately wants to be a cowboy. That's why it's like the Western's still nobody goes to see a fucking Western anymore.
Yeah.
But he's oozing that. I think Kevin Kline's having so much fun with broad comedy.
I think so. I think he's this sort of mad. He's kind of like a bit timid, but also like fucks.
Yeah. And then you've got Kenneth Branagh being like, I get to do a wacky accent and sit for the whole movie. Yes, please.
He's got this facial hair, and it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's that Hunger Games one with the guy from the first one. Imagine that on steroids. There's like 7 different ingredients.
I hated seeing how pale Kenneth Branagh was with black hair. I was like, you're
They
giving me the ick.
They put powder on him. I
He's
think.
definitely that's just him. He's just British.
Don't you dare. He's won an Oscar, okay?
So that's just how Belfast was.
He
was a kid in Belfast, I wonder if he foresaw being a Confederate soldier spider.
I think it really cuts because he's just like, man, the Irish troubles were tough. It's like, I don't know. I just saw you in Wild Wild West. Things are going pretty well for you. He also has his accent. Let's talk about the accent.
I beg anybody who has not seen Wild Wild West or has forgotten he is in it, go and look up any monologue from the movie that he does. It is incredible.
While I say, I do declare,
I've never seen a man with so much molasses spilling out his mouth.
Again, it's IMDb trivia, so guess this is where you come to get the good stuff, guys. Apparently, he thinks it's the worst, and dare I say, he should have gone full hog in Tenet, even more Russian.
No, they need it.
I like he's just a guy.
He's
isn't he?
actually a fucking sucker for an accent. You finally hear when you see like Poirot, and you just love having fun.
Yeah, he was like, "How much do those make? Great, we're making 3. I'm doing the accent more each time."
Yeah,
God, it's good.
I think it just really. I would love somebody to start a YouTube series or a podcast that just sits down actors to watch their bombs.
Yeah.
And just be like, so what were you thinking in this scene when you became a spider?
Yeah.
And he could just be like, yeah, I just really thought it was going to come together. Like, I'd just love to know.
Well, you would. You'd be like, Mad, what's it? Not Mad. The movie one. Men in Black.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wacky stuff in there, but it all works.
Yeah.
It all works. And
Absolutely.
you'd be like, fuck it, this is I'm on the side. Anyway, we meet our boys. Now they're like a team, okay?
Yeah. They've become a team. We meet the president.
Yeah.
But that's not the president, it's Kevin Kline.
Yes.
And you can tell immediately there's no trickery here. You just go, well, that's just Kevin Kline.
In a bad wig.
But then when the president enters, he looks slightly different, but you're also like, is that still Kevin Kline?
I think they've done a great job of putting Kevin Kline in a bad wig and then putting the president in pretty good makeup. And cause it almost seems like they were a cruel joke of like, let's hire a new makeup artist and a real makeup artist.
But it was...
And then I think again, compliments to the film. That's a fun gag.
It threw me that why we got Kevin Kline playing 2 characters?
Because you want double the Kline, okay?
It seems like because I kept
by
the end of the movie you just keep going, but they're both Kevin Kline.
No, Carl. You see, one's Kevin Kline in disguise, and one's President U.S.E. Grant. Now, I will say, do we think they did this bit? And then they had to go, he's actually quite a big character. We're going to have you sprinkled in quite a bit now.
It honestly felt like they couldn't afford to hire someone else. And
they could. There's $175 million floating around this.
It made me think it was only meant to be 90 and things were going awry on set.
This is the era where Will Smith's making like $100 million a film. Yeah. Is this real? Like, do we think a lot of this is
I think
just
he got
him?
$50 million for this one.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, not up front. I think he got... Like, I think overall he's made $50 million from this project alone.
Gotcha.
But granted, he's had so many wins, you'd be like, well, I guess this movie's just going to clear $700 million worldwide.
Yes.
Like, it just...
He probably thought this would make him skyrocket.
It's also during a time when I think obviously the concept of movie star at the moment's off.
Yeah.
But back then, you'd be like, well, he's just fucking baked. Like, the fact that this movie even made over $200 million is probably just because of him.
Yeah. It turned a profit. Yeah, that's...
By now?
I think in the overseas stuff, it made a profit. How crazy is that?
Oh, like after the fact.
After the fact, yes.
Yes,
Not moments after.
I was like,
not seconds in. They were like, it's the biggest bomb in history. It made money.
Some executive being like, what are you talking about? That's the biggest hit ever. That's our Avatar. Shut up.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. We made a lot of money on that one, huh?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson sitting back with his Black Adam, just being like, don't worry, I'm gonna...
What's a Black Adam? Is he just sitting back with like an awful cocktail? Just mud and stuff?
Probably. Yep, so they've been teamed together and they've got to go and find... if Kenneth Branagh's really alive.
Yeah.
Because he's meant to be dead.
Yeah.
The leader of the Confederate Party.
Yes.
They go to this big party. It all goes awry. They go to hang Will Smith. He talks his way out of it.
You say goes awry. You should say he's then trialed as a slave and a bunch of old Confederate people are like, let's hang that dude. Again, tonally. And Will Smith is, I think, having a party, but surrounding him is quite a serious situation.
It's crazy how much Will Smith can actually do as an actor in charm, considering his monologue that gets him out of being hung is saying how much he enjoys just slapping breasts.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that so much of the movie just revolves around, like, objectifying everyone.
I think it's objectifying people, but it's done so, I don't know, silly. It doesn't feel... Like, no sexual things feel sexual. Actually, no, there's a lot of sexual stuff. What am I saying? It's grim, but I guess for kids? I don't know what I'm saying, Carl.
Yeah, neither.
It's in the film.
Yeah, it's in the film, and that's all it is. I really also want to highlight the line because I just kept on getting... I was watching it, and I was like, God, he's really just saying that a lot, which is Will Smith gets so, obsessed with this man's head and just keeps on going, that's a man's head. That is a man's head.
Because he gets they do a classic drag, one drag, not in drag. I'm now berating a woman because she looks ugly. That old chestnut.
Yeah.
But Kline's in a different outfit. He's in a different drag. There's a lot of drag in the first half.
So much drag. I absolutely adore how much drag there is for simply no reason. The fact that it's going to be steampunk meets the West meets RuPaul.
Well, it's that. It's like he's an inventor. He also has a lot of wacky costumes.
He's on a spectrum. He loves it. After we find out that Kenneth Branagh's still alive,
yes,
and he has lost his legs,
yes,
because he's lost his legs, Will Smith consistently makes fun of the fact he's lost his legs for the entire film.
Again, it's ableist, but there's no excuse really. But I don't know. It's the 90s. I don't know.
It's funny because the main concept that they make fun of him for is because Kenneth Branagh's still really horny. He's mainly I just want to fuck.
Sorry, that is the thing. I feel like almost every issue kind of pull the film. They go, no, we're dangling a carrot over here. We're going to be awfully, not even sexist, just kind of comically sexist. Like, I still fuck. I love my penis in a woman's vagina. And you're like, oh my God, Kenneth. He makes machines that just plow women to death.
He's also just... he's improv-ing. That's just Kenneth being Kenneth.
It's improv with a $175 million budget, so they can make whatever he says.
It's so crazy when you watch Kenneth Branagh in this movie and just go, wow, he just loves Shakespeare so much.
And he's a good director.
Sometimes, yes.
God, he's weird.
What is Kenneth Branagh's career? But I think Kenneth Branagh's at his best when he gets to do this. Because I love him in Harry Potter when he's the over-the-top dickhead.
Yeah.
It's really fun that because I always think Kenneth Branagh is the most pretentious man who ever is or was. That I'm when he's brought down to earth and I'm oh, I think you're just sort of a wacky hammy man.
I think so. I think he just loves Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And I think it gets kind of thrown in with the Belfast and everything. It's just, you can't do this and be pretentious. He's committing a full hog. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
God, he's good.
Yeah. Fun fact, when they're on the train driver is from a previous who would watch this film.
Oh, I recognize
What
him.
movie was it, Oscar?
I couldn't recognize. I saw him. I was like, is it Old Man Withers from Scooby-Doo?
No.
No, what is it? Who is he?
He is the neighbor in the Christmas with the Cranks.
Wow. Wow.
Pretty good, right?
Wow.
Pretty good, right?
He had a good year, huh?
He had a great
year. Wow, good for him. A Christmas classic and $175 million.
To have Wild Wild West and then 7 to 8 years later, Christmas with the Cranks. That's peak.
That's what you want in your
That's
career.
exactly what you want.
To
jump to a Tim Allen vehicle, so good. So good.
You want to peak and then peak once again.
Oh,
that's kind of the best thing you want to do for an actor.
Absolutely. Knowing you're going to get to act with Daniel Aykroyd himself.
And I'm talking peak.
Yeah.
That's right. Post-90s.
We're talking well after the Ghostbusters.
Carl, I've got two things to say. One, yes, you're right. This train, it's all steampunky. We should also say Wild Wild West is based on a 1960s TV show. I checked it out. It isn't like the movie. And it seemed like...
What?
Even, you know that weird credit sequence at the start? You're kind of like, that doesn't fit here, but I guess they're doing a homage to, like, the TV show? Not even. So I don't even know what they're doing there.
That just harkens back to a time when people gave a shit about credit sequences.
I guess so, yeah.
And I miss it.
But the disgust that the main actor had with this film is crazy. He wanted to, he saw the script and was, physically ill. He was like, don't you ever fucking even message me again. You've ruined the tarnish of this beautiful show. The show's odd, though. But it does have this train, it does have this old man. It's weird what they've kept from the show.
Does it have drag?
It has, would I say, quite a bit.
They get into a chase on the train tracks.
Yes.
I love how cartoonish this is for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Will Smith gets onto a bungee rope.
Yes.
And it just throws him around the train tracks. So comedically, woo, whoop, woo, whoop, woo.
It's a rubber noose. That was how they're going to get out the slave owners.
Yeah.
Which is a crazy invention to make.
Nuts.
Crazy Kline's thought of this stuff, you know?
You know what's odd about this movie is how over the top its actual sense of humor is. It's not just... One of the things I find really boring now about, I would say potentially an equivalent to this would probably be Mortal Engines. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
But I would assume it's just one of those
a large sort of world building side.
What are they thinking? What are they doing? Seems bizarre. But then if on top of that, Mortal Engines was trying so grotesquely hard to be a really goofy comedy, then maybe I'd give it a chance. And I think that's why this is whenever it's dull or whenever it's boring or whenever I'm just like, what were they thinking? It then is going so wide with the comedy. They literally fall into a pool of shit. And that isn't enough because then he gets sneezed on with shit.
It feels like this, they've got a plot and they've gone, okay, we need to spack a lot of wide comedy in this. What do you mean? We've made a very historical drama. What are you talking about? It's we've got a lot of reshoots and we've got a lot of poo. Yeah. So we're going to make something out of it.
It definitely comes across as they were shocked maybe at how good... the chemistry was between Will Smith and Kevin Kline, and they were just more.
Yeah.
More.
It feels like studio notes. Doesn't it feel like 1,000 studio notes pointing to everything? You're like, oh, God.
Absolutely.
But it's made a Frankenstein of a film.
Absolutely. There's this big machine that mows down a bunch of Confederates.
Yes, again.
The music that plays after that scene also seems to be empathetic to the Confederates. It was really odd.
It seemed so we find the ear guy who Will Smith and Kevin Kline have been following. He's dead because Kenneth Branagh has betrayed them with essentially a tank. He's made a tank.
He's built a tank.
He's built a tank. He's killed all the other Confederates, which would be good. Turns out, no. He's bitter at the Confederates for surrendering. Cowards.
Seems counterproductive on what his idea is, but sure.
Yeah.
Right? Seems at the end he could have needed as many people as he needed.
Yeah, I mean, one spider's good.
Cocky.
He got cocky.
One spider's good, but you know what's better than one spider?
A few men.
A few good men.
Yeah.
Because of the big shooting sequence, we find out some of Will Smith's backstory.
Yes.
And it is tragic.
It always plays at such, not for laughs, but it's after I don't know, someone's fallen in poo. Yeah. It's always after he's just on a bungee noose. Or just someone does a fart and it's just anyway, I was separated from my family and they were slaves and I got raised by Indians and I've had to fend for myself and live off the land.
And the moment he found his family, they were also killed by this machine.
Yeah.
And it's really dark, and it's not in tune with the movie at all. And anytime they sprinkle it in, you go, "Oh, what?"
It's almost like they go, hey, it's pretty funny, huh? But anyway, those Confederates did kill. And slavery's a thing. And it's a harsh cut when Kevin Kline's got a wacky invention he's got to prove.
Oh, right. There's a scene that I know they absolutely shortened, which is like they're at a campfire and Will Smith's going into it and Kevin Kline's like, I'm going to do anything I can to get this man and kill him with you.
Yeah.
And it immediately just like cuts to Kenneth Branagh being like, woo!
Like, no, don't worry about racism, okay? It's all in Kenneth. That wacky man, he's the reason. Once you kill him, we're all good.
Just waltzing around being like, I do declare. I do declare. Yeah, so they get caught. Oh, also, we have not brought it up at all, but during this time, Selma Hayek's been here.
She's used for, and again, it is on the film. We should criticize it, but it's almost too, it's too blasé.
It's very 90s.
It's so 90s, and it's so, I don't know, just in your face that you're almost like, I guess, but she's just there for sex.
She's here.
She's for the breasts and for her butt.
She is here so that they had a woman on the poster.
Yeah. A woman on the poster, and they really just don't even bother with the pretense.
She doesn't get an arc.
She doesn't got an arc.
She hasn't really got an objective. And
she's just
you
around.
see a lot of butt.
Yeah.
So a lot of her time on screen is just Will Smith and Kevin Kline taking turns just objectifying her back and forth for a long time. What's the one? It's the one that I wrote down. She is a breast of fresh air.
And they go, don't you dare say that.
We need to fall asleep. We need to get some shut ass. Those are real lines.
But
the shut ass one, I was like, damn, okay.
Shut ass gotta go. Will Smith gotta. He plays, and he's a great actor. Good for him. He sells the line. You gotta go, what? And he goes. He kind of looks around like, I didn't say that. Now fuck off, Kline. God, it's a good line. She is literally nothing to this film. You can cut her immediately. But again, you're right. It's for the poster, and I guess. Just in case you get bored or the laughs aren't hitting or the action isn't hitting, here's a woman. Just look at, she's scantily dressed. Just come on.
It's the Wild West.
Keep watching. Okay,
it's the Wild
West.
After they're caught, they get put into the same thing from the beginning of the movie where the blades chase them. I always thought this was the best scene in the movie. It blew my mind that this is like a 2-minute scene. I always thought this was a massive scene
it feels
from
like
memory.
But it does feel like it should be more. It's a weird payoff. I guess it's just so you establish the sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
But you're kind of left like, well, they got out pretty easily.
It's so we can have a scene where it takes them 5 minutes to untangle their magnets, but because of it puts them in weird sexual positions.
Oh, yeah, and it's going down the whole route of like, listen, I ain't gay, but you better not blow me. And God, they want to blow each other.
They
it's
do.
Off the tension.
The little thing called subtext.
Yeah.
And boys, this film got
It's got it. Will Smith is absolutely going to town on Kevin Kline's fake breasts, and it's hot and it's weird, but it's hot and it's sexy. God, it works in a lot of ways. They do this untangling. They're covered in poo. They're almost sucking cock.
This whole sequence, I was like, what film are we in now? This is so broad. And it's the best part of the movie, I guess.
I think so. Yeah. You've got covered in poo. I'm not going to suck your cock. Anyway, here's how my slave-owning parents is like, oh my God, Kline, no.
Yeah. They also get out of it, Kevin Kline being like, oh, I forgot I did have tools.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? And then they're just out of it.
It's lazy, but again, I don't know why. I keep giving everything a pass.
Like, you know this is bad because it's the same year. It's like The Matrix and Pulp Fiction and The Sixth Sense. And it's all these massive movies that we remember now.
I think you can kind of go, like, I can understand why this has such a legacy of such a dreadful film. However, not spending money on it and knowing that, going in, I think you got a lot of like, hey, We know what we're doing. I think modern day ones, I'm sick to death of like just a corporate like clean cut thing. This has got none of that.
It's got none of that.
It's not been shaved off. A bunch of coked up executives are like, fuck it. Every second has to be entertaining. Either sex, guns, or I don't know, racism. One of those will sell.
It sucks because nowadays we don't get this. Nowadays our critique is like, oh, it feels like AI wrote this.
Yeah.
But AI would never come up with this film.
Yeah, God,
this is so human.
This is so human.
This is literally just Icarus as a movie, and you're like, wow, wow, nothing came together, and it's just nonsense, and it's beautiful.
Oh, Carl, we haven't even got to the finale, which is the best bit.
This.
We get to Spider City. Spider City.
When they get there and they're like, I wonder what we're going to do at Spider City, and a spider gets up, it's the best. It's such a good reveal. The other thing we haven't brought up is, the movie cost $170 million. It looks pretty good.
It looks like they've spent the money.
It looks like they spent the money. Like, I was like, this is why you spend that much money over 20 years ago so that it looks barely dated now.
Yes. I mean, it's crazy. Like, I don't know. I feel we go to the Red Notice thing, but this is similar money. This is probably similar size. I'm sure Kline was getting another $50 million as well. Don't laugh.
You could pretend it. You could pretend to say Kline was getting paid.
Kline was getting that money, okay? That's why he doesn't have to act anymore. He got the coin.
They all get captured.
Yes.
They have no idea how they're going to get out of this little situation. I had completely forgotten about this, and this is where I was like, "Oh yeah, this movie's awesome." Will Smith comes in drag. His whole arc was to just learn to love drag.
And I gotta tell you, what a powerful part of the film.
It's really
for him
strong.
to be like, Kline, I understand you. And at that moment, I was like, wow, sparks are flying.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. What an arc. How dare the American population not let this film soar?
Like, this is the type of thing that, considering Will Smith was actually really into his career as a leading man, this comes to me as the type of thing now an agent would be like, don't you dare embarrass yourself. Like, you're a leading man. You're Will Smith. Like, you don't save the day in drag twerking on a Confederate soldier with spider legs.
You know what? Maybe that's a good note. Maybe that's a good note for a producer.
But it's so
just the end bit.
out there.
You know,
I just mean to actually be like, go out there at the end of your climax in drag.
It is a shame. It's a shame the risk has not paid off. This wackiness. It's a shame. It's $175 million.
And immediately I was like, this is terrible. But I was also like, I'm in love with this. Like, this is, his breasts come undone, turn into a flamethrower, and Will Smith mows everybody down with flames.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It is. Also, during this summer, Hayek goes, hey, I think that's my dad. See, good luck with the end battle.
I'm going to hug him for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll catch you at the end.
We now get Will Smith and Kline on top of the... there's a little foreshadowing about, 4 minutes beforehand when the spider gully, they're like, hey, see that spider there? Wasps like to fly onto it.
Oh my god, it was so good. I genuinely was like, do they build a wasp? I can't remember. I think they build a wasp. Are they gonna build a fucking wasp? They don't.
They don't. But they do invent flying, so that's a huge win.
That's pretty good.
I looked it up. Wright Brothers, 1901. I did think it was earlier, but they invented flight 40 years earlier.
Yeah.
How crazy is flight, huh? As a concept?
Who would have thought?
I mean, like, we've been living for a while now. It's crazy we can fly.
No, it's so good. Remember when the pterodactyl ghost could do it in Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed?
Yeah, well, that was modern day, you know?
I just thought it was impressive.
Well, it is very impressive.
Yeah. So they're able to get to the top. They have a big fight sequence.
Yes.
They obviously don't want to have these people killing any of the villainous women, so they just sort of topple off the building at their own will.
Yeah, no, Kline, because he's sort of like played as sort of like the sort of like, he's not going to be the showstopper. So he sort of dances around the women and they fall up to their death. It feels like they're like, don't kick those women to the death. But hey, Will Smith though can go to fucking town on his lackeys, on his men lackeys.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Who are these guys?
I don't know.
They just
come out of nowhere.
Nowhere.
One of them's just like the main thing I remember about this movie actually is because my brother was obsessed with the line. I learned that from a Chinaman, and Will Smith hits him with a shovel and goes, I just made that up. And my brother used to say that all the time.
In what regard? How would that come into
can't
conversation?
remember, but I haven't seen the movie in ages, and I was watching this with my partner, and I quoted the scene as it unfolded. So it had really unlocked a moment in the back of my psyche.
Where would you even use that?
I don't know. I might ask him. It really was a big... It was like a I don't know what sort of like a sleeper agent moment. Like I could kill someone with a shovel. Maybe my brother used to hit me with a shovel and be like, I just made that up. And I'd just be like cowering underneath him.
We delved into too much of your psyche. It's too much.
Absolutely.
These guys on the I don't know, this big spider. They're just like Frankenstein metal people. I don't know how it happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, the big battle happens with Kenneth and Will Smith. They're in the gallows of a spider.
Yeah.
I don't know how the shit
when
works.
it's revealed he has more spider in him, it's pretty great.
It is pretty great.
It's just, I was just like, wow. This movie...
Will Smith guy goes, hey, the battle might be lost, but imagine not having fucking legs and a cock. I would kill myself. That's the worst thing in life. Imagine having no goddamn legs. And Kenneth's like, well, guess what? I've got 4.
Yeah, that's it. 4 of a kind's better than a pair.
I love that line.
That's
a
great.
really good line.
The other thing I forgot to mention was there's a part where Kenneth Branagh goes, I can still have sex, I can devise I can make any object to have sex and please a woman. And they look over at a big machine pump that's big penis moving back and forward. And I went, wow, that's nuts. This costs $170 million.
But you'd be like, someone made that prop.
Animated that.
Someone made that prop, and then they went, let's put some CGI on it to make it good.
Yeah, and then Kenneth Branagh had to be like, what line am I reading today? And they're like, don't worry. It'll be funny because we'll cut to the giant penis mechanic.
Giant cock. It's going to be back and forth, and that's pretty much, not even an innuendo. I guess just a literal,
it's going to be
cock.
So prevalent that you wouldn't consider it anything but a penis.
Why did they bring that? Why'd they bring that? They just had a cock in the middle of a field to him to like lure at and then go.
It looks like that's meant to pleasure the spider. Maybe the spider is its own being.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Another line I do love from Kenneth is like someone's like, I think it's Kline is like, I love my country with all my heart. And then Kenneth's like, shoot him in the face. That's such a fucking good line.
It was so good. It was like just... please shoot me in the heart, and he just went shoot him in the head. It was really good. There's some, I think, because again, anytime that like the 3 of these leads are on screen, it's so good.
It is good.
It's so good.
We get the final thing. They fall to their death, and then Will Smith is holding on to Kenneth, and Kenneth is like, I could kill myself, and I'd be pretty happy. I do love myself, but killing you would be fun. It's a toss up. And then Will Smith just kills him.
Yeah, and then I guess it was fine because Will Smith could just grab onto something.
Yeah.
And then I hated this line because some of the lines had been so good, but it like does a full zoom in on Will Smith and he's like, now that's a whooping.
Yeah.
And I would have loved something else.
Something
else. I think that's the only critique of this movie. That one line.
I feel like you had a lot of like, I don't know, someone should have got the bug spray, spiders down. You could even make a Spider-Man joke. I wouldn't mind if he completely breaks the fourth wall.
Wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be like...
Peter Parker said hi,
Wow, you fell harder than Tom Holland's career.
That joke...
Everyone in the audience, what?
Tom Holland as a newborn, like, hey!
Hey, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
People are going to see Cherry, right? People are going to watch Cherry, yeah. The movie also ends where you're like, wow, look at them riding horses into the sunset, and it's like clacking, and then it does a full zoom out and they're on the top of the spider, and I was like, what was making the clacking of the horse sound then? And then the spider's tossing them around so much. I was like, when did it ever look like you would have been on a horse? This is crazy how giant and mechanical and loud this is. Like that was to me such a fourth wall break of the filmmakers being like, it looks like they're on horses, they're really on a spider. And you're like, if they're on that spider, it would never look like they were on a horse.
I love that note because it's definitely some producer going, all right. You can just see it like we write on the script, like that will look great. And the CGI is going, are you shitting me? How the fuck am I going to make that work? They're 40,000 feet in the air. It's a spider rocking back and forth. They have to be hugging on this massive platform. What's the point?
There's no seatbelt or any stabilization. They're just violently shifting left to right like a boat in a storm. What do you mean?
A boat in a storm, but then a crane smacked it around, spinning it. It's aggressive. And we end on that note?
Yes. Oh, all right.
Carl, who would watch Wild Wild West?
I had a lot of emotions about this movie.
I did too.
It is not good.
Yes.
And
we can't stress that enough. It's not a good film.
It's not good.
If you go into this film with our energy, expecting a good film. It's not. Sometimes it drags. It doesn't really. It drags, but then it keeps picking you up again.
It's lovely that it's like an hour 45.
Yeah.
You know, so it's totally fine. I had a real tough time, though, where I was like, am I enjoying this? This is bad. It's not good, but the leads are fun, and this is fun, and that's stupid, and that knows it's stupid, so that makes that okay. And I was like, is the film industry in such a hole? Because this
It did make me reflect and go, are we that starved for just
that's what I thought.
something?
And I went, wow, is the film industry that boring at the moment? Because I'd just seen If, and I'd just seen the new Godzilla and Kong movie. And I was like, is this what I will accept now? Because it's out on a limb, and it's just bizarre. And it was crazy because I landed it,
Yeah, I think so.
Like, I really am starved for just anything that's really odd.
It was a bit of personality. I
Yeah.
mean, granted, Will Smith and Kline and even Kenneth, they've got a bit of background.
They're
but
making choices.
they're making choices.
And the fact that a lot of them aren't paying off really makes them pay off.
Yeah.
It's not like in...
I just feel like there's actors that will go into a role with their shtick. I don't know. I don't want to... I feel like attacking...
I'm really excited to watch Furiosa because it looks like Chris Hemsworth is hamming it up.
Yes.
Like, he's really going hammy OTT villain, and I'm excited for that because I want... Like, for a film to have personality, everybody in it needs to be making active choices.
Yeah.
And this feels like that's what this is. And that, to me, was good enough to just have a fun time with the movie.
I think so.
And that meant the world. So I think if at the end of this, what is shaping up to be a really awful box office year, if you're at the end of this summer and you're starved because nothing's been interesting and everything's bloated and 3 hours long and everything's sort of boring and dull, chuck on Wild Wild West. And I think you're going to be like, what a romp. What an absolute bizarre little film. Like, crazy. Crazy it got made with all these stars, all this money. It hasn't aged well either. Like, it is
But that's
offensive.
part of that, I think, is the charm.
It's so 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good, but it really is very good. Oscar. Oh, so on top of that, who would watch this? I think if you're...
It seems like a recommend. It seems like
It
if you're
feels like a
if you're in a
recommend,
rut,
right?
if you're just not doing well,
If you're feeling
use
really
better
exhausted.
help. No, I'm just kidding. We're not sponsored.
Yeah.
Go watch a movie. It's much cheaper. However, I did spend $3 to watch this.
I did too, but it was also an extra $2 if you wanted to buy it.
I was
contemplated buying
I really
it.
did too, and I wish
Yeah.
I did. I feel like I will watch this in my lifetime. It is a fun one to watch with friends. I think it's silly enough.
Yeah.
You get enough out of it.
And I think the fact that the movie is very, very widely a comedy in such a bizarre way.
You know, I was
It
reading.
makes it move quicker.
I was reading sort of like just sort of the production of what was going on. Test audience did not think it was a comedy, and they've made it more comedic.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I think if you take out a lot of the jokes, you'd be like, am I meant to be taking this Confederate
Yes.
soldier with spider legs seriously?
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't be.
No.
So you need to lean into it. Otherwise,
Yes.
it's not going to work. So, yeah. I think if anyone's feeling starved this year for a real fucking swing and a miss, Wild Wild West is for you, and that's who should watch it. Oscar, who would watch Wild Wild West?
If you think about watching The Lone Ranger on Disney Plus, you can't anymore. Do you know that?
Oh, really?
They've taken it off their own streaming platform.
Really? They were like Johnny Depp as an Indian was
Yes.
insensitive?
I think they were
Or
like...
Army Hammer being an abusive cannibal
There was a lot
also
of
insensitive.
there was a lot of options. I think they were like, you know what, maybe
Or
this,
this movie's just terrible and that was insensitive to Disney Plus.
I guess if you're craving that, but then don't want to spend the money to watch The Lone Ranger, I guess you put this on instead. So I think that's exactly that exact example. So, either take Carl's beautiful answer, or if you're trying to watch The Lone Ranger, you got $3 to spare. Check out this one. Carl, what are we doing next week?
TBA, Oscar.
TBA, the new film by PTA, is blowing up. People are loving it. However, we want to shit on it. That's right. Carl, also, if you want us to review a movie, askwwwtpodcast@gmail.com. We'll do anything, huh?
We'll do anything. Any movie. We just did Wild Wild West and we loved it.
Loved it.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.